In this video, I'm going to introduce you to mindfulness, and specifically one of the best techniques that I know to practice mindfulness, which is the body scan. Mindfulness essentially is moment-to-moment, non-judgmental awareness of internal or external experiences. Another way we can describe mindfulness would be being present or being aware of whatever we're experiencing or feeling without judgment. Mindfulness essentially goes against a very common habit that we have, which is to try to A, not pay attention to what we're feeling, or B, trying to get rid of or suppress what we're feeling. But the research is pretty clear that as soon as we try to get rid of or suppress any of what we're experiencing, usually whatever we're experiencing, especially if it's discomfort, will be experienced as more intense. So this is especially true for any kind of emotional discomfort, where particular feelings that we might not try to feel might actually be more intense the more we try to not feel them. This can also be true for physical pain. If we have physical pain and we're trying desperately to try to get rid of that pain or to try to not feel that pain, subjectively we might actually feel that the pain was worse. So what the mindfulness research shows is essentially that if we manage to simply pay attention to whatever we're feeling, especially if it's discomfort, the experience of whatever we're feeling is less intense. It's simply what it is, without any kind of overlay of a particular kind of struggle. So the mindfulness body scan has 3 steps, and I'm going to walk you through them, and we'll do that with you. The first step is just noticing breathing. The second step is noticing any body sensations by scanning the body from toes to head. And the third step is noticing the body as a whole. You can do this in any position you like, standing or walking even, or sitting or lying down, wherever you are. So the first step is to notice breathing. And I would invite you to notice breathing by noticing the movement of your body as you breathe. So this could be movement in the shoulders, could be movement in the chest, in the abdomen. Essentially, we're paying attention to our body moving as we breathe. It's important that we don't try to make our breathing deeper or that we change our breath in any way. The most important piece here is that we simply try to notice, that we're simply aware of our breath. And this is true for noticing anything that we're noticing throughout this entire exercise. So the second step starts with awareness of our feet and toes. And what we're paying attention to here is any sensation like temperature or physical tension or pain, contact with clothing or shoes or the ground. We're trying to feel. And then moving up to ankles, shins and calves, feeling any contact with clothing here, feeling any tension. And what inevitably happens is that we get distracted by thinking, or we get distracted by outside noises or any other sounds. So in the context of mindfulness, thinking isn't a problem. It's not about not thinking. It's more about simply noticing when we're thinking, and when thinking essentially has distracted us from what we're feeling or what's happening in our bodies or in our world, and bringing our awareness back to what we're paying attention to. So paying attention to shins and calves, being aware, moving up to knee joints, thighs, maybe feeling the contact with the chair or bed, or feeling our hands resting on thighs and the weight. And then paying attention to the lower back, noticing any pain or tension there. And whenever we do encounter pain or discomfort of any kind, the practice here is to simply notice it, and notice how much we're struggling against it, perhaps. And then instead of struggling against it, just letting it be. Letting it be as it is, being aware of it as it is, even if we don't like it. Noticing abdomen, often an area that might be tricky or difficult to really get a good feeling for, so it could even be a sense of sort of just space, fullness, emptiness. Noticing our upper back, shoulder blades. Again, feeling contact with clothing, chest. Again, noticing the movement of the breath there. It's essentially as if we're gluing our awareness to the present moment, trying to make it stick to every present moment, moment by moment by moment. Noticing hands, temperature of hands, the weight of hands, and noticing arms and shoulders and neck, often again areas that are quite tense for many people. Use these as opportunities to practice not struggling, but simply noticing, being aware. And then noticing the head, ears, face, mouth, eyes. And finally, the third step is trying to get a feeling of the body as a whole. Trying to be aware of the entire body at once. So you can open your eyes if you had them shut, and what I invite you to do is to just take a moment to now notice your mind, notice the speed of your mind. Notice how many thoughts are passing through your mind now compared to before you started this exercise. Also notice how your body feels. There's an interesting paradox here that we don't actually call it a relaxation exercise, because as soon as we try to feel relaxed, we try to perhaps feel something that we don't really have access to in terms of relaxation. But interestingly and paradoxically, when we try to really just pay attention to what is happening, especially if it is pain or discomfort, people tend to feel more relaxed. But it's important that we don't try desperately to feel relaxed. So you can practice this body scan anytime. You can do this in a very short way too, by, for example, simply noticing your feet, or noticing any area of the body for whatever time you have, be it in line in the grocery store, or you're waiting for a traffic light to change. You can simply just check in with your body or your breath. I would invite you to do this as often as you can. And remember, one of the most important pieces of this exercise is to notice when you're thinking and redirecting your awareness to whatever is actually happening in the present moment, be it in your body or in your environment. If you take one thing from this exercise, this would be the most important piece, which really defines mindfulness.